Marama Fox. Marama Davidson.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Tēnā koe I te māngai o te whare, huri noa ki oku hoa kaimahi o tēnei whare pāremata, tēnā tātou katoa. He mihi anō kia koutou ngā manuhiri ki Aotearoa mai te moana nui a kiwa. Tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa. Ko Marama Davidson tōku ingoa. He māngai ahau mō te Pāti Kākariki. It is my absolute deep honour to be able to speak on behalf of the Green Party today as our spokesperson on Pacific peoples and Pacific issues. Kia ora koutou katoa. Mr. Speaker, I still have the sand in my shoes from Mission Bay in Auckland this morning, where I stood with deep pride alongside our Pacific sisters as we released a karanga, a call to the moana to unite our Pacific and tangata whenua voices for peace in the Pacific region and around the world, and to acknowledge the voices of Pacific and tangata whenua women against war and against all forms of oppression. I'm shaking the sand off from that event and then came straight here to Wellington to speak in Parliament, because we need to support the community voices and the community projects that are organising against the militarisation of the Pacific and that are best suited to be able to provide our own Pacific solutions to the threats of violence and war and oppression in the Pacific region. It was also an action that highlighted our connection to our whanaunga of Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, because together we are mokopuna of Tangaroa. Together we are mokopuna of the Pacific Ocean. So it is my absolute pleasure to bring the sands from Mission Bay, from the rohe of Ngāti Whātua, here to this House of Representatives in Aotearoa to speak on behalf of the Green Party. I want to also raise, in keeping with the theme of standing in solidarity against war and oppression, I want to raise the need for Pacific nations and Aotearoa to stand in solidarity with West Papua. And we have been inspired by Pacific youth in particular, and I want to acknowledge Oceania Interrupted, a leadership group again of Pacific young amazing women who have been standing alongside tangata whenua wahine to raise our voices in support of the freedom and independence of West Papua. The Green Party of Aotearoa wishes to acknowledge the inspiring leadership of Pacific nations who are supporting the independence, self-determination and human rights of West Papua. We absolutely acknowledge the effort in the Pacific to urge the Melanesian Spearhead Group and Pacific Island Forum to give them full member status, and we thank those Pacific leaders who have advocated so long and so strong for them at the United Nations. Papua Merdeka. We want to understand, and as my colleagues of the House have stipulated, we cannot state strong enough that we are a Pacific nation. That my own ancestors, as a daughter of Ngāpuhi, Ngāti Porou and Te Rarawa, as an Indigenous woman of Aotearoa, I acknowledge my tupuna and their voyages, their journeys through the Pacific and our whanaungatanga bond that meets the shores and the waters of the moana on this land to maintain the blood connections to our Pacific nations of your lands. So the Pacific communities are a massive, vibrant part of Aotearoa, and in my home community of Manurewa in South Auckland, where I live, that the South Auckland region, the Manukau city, is the largest population and the largest Pacific community in the world, a community to which I have belonged for 20 years and am incredibly proud of. I want to quickly mention that in my other portfolios and my work in South Auckland, the focus on homelessness and housing issues absolutely must acknowledge that Pacific families often carry the biggest burden of any housing issues facing our country, and that we again must provide the local community solutions support, the community groups in the Pacific communities who are best placed to come up with the solutions if they are well supported. As we saw with the work from the marae Te Puia, a marae in Mangere and also Manurewa marae, we know that our people have the solutions, they just need the support. The New Zealand leadership role in the Pacific is incredibly essential to build the collective Pacific voice on climate action, and I look forward to my colleague Gareth Hughes, who will expand more on the Green Party's long and strong advocacy in addressing climate change seriously. Through our cross-government, parliamentary and community action is how we must address climate action, social development, peace and adjustment. The investment from government and NGOs has to be guided by the local people of each of our communities and of each of our nations and coordinated in partnership with them. We've already seen the enormous potential for positive outcomes when our government and the NGOs working in the Pacific are open to broad discussions about things such as community building, enabling women's participation in politics, child protection and social well-being, as well as the much-needed solar panels and water pumps. As I bring my contribution to an end, I want to mention that economic development has been a priority for a while now, but there cannot be economic development without sustainable economic development, which requires families to be of health and well-being, to be well educated, to lower our incidences of family violence, to improve the accessibility and quality of water, to improve sanitation, and to develop more reliable energy sources that are going to provide a home in the future for coming Pacific mokopuna. Nō reira, kia koutou, aku hoa kaimahi, kia koutou ngā manuhiri o te whanaunga nui o te moana nui akiwa. The Green Party is committed to working with parliamentarians and grassroots communities across the Pacific, developing relationships to acknowledge the delegation's time here with us, and again, in your visit to Ora Kei Marae, where you were welcome to Aotearoa, which is directly above the Mission Bay part of the Auckland Harbour, where I spent this morning with our Pacific sisters. I hope your time here is productive and of use to you, and we look forward to building and strengthening and continuing to have the discussions that will see us working together as Pacific nations in the Pacific region. Tēnā koutou katoa.